US Open 2019, a really exciting tournament. The draws are out already. We have some exciting matches in the first round. Most of all, the first time, Maria Sharapova, because we are going to the WTA side a little bit before the men's side. Maria Sharapova, Serena Williams, first time they meet at the US Open and in the first round of fixtures. The old school tennis between them, it will be there will be a lot of decibels there on a court, I'm sure. But let's talk a little bit about the outrights. Who will win this tournament, and after that we will break it down quarter by quarter. So Serena Williams, she's the favorite to win this tournament at 6, followed by Simona Halep at 9, Ashley Barty at 11, Naomi Osaka at 12, Bianca Andreescu 15. Huge, great player with a great career in front. I think that she's absolutely incredible, and I love the fact that she's born Romanian, and her parents are Romanian, and she moved in Canada when she was a little girl. Carolina Pliskova at 15.5, Madison Keys at 17, and so on. I will start with you, Well Capper, because you are our special guest, so we have to treat you nice. What are you thinking about this winner market, this outright market? Who will win this tournament? Do you have you placed your bets on some of the players already, or you are waiting for the first rounds? I don't know.
I have a couple of plays in on the women's side. I put them in pre-draw because I was feeling a little aggressive. I was, we'll roll the dice here, and it didn't work out great actually, because the two kind of medium priced gals that I kind of really had eyes for, one was Madison Keys, the other was Sophia Kenin. They ended up in the same little subsection of the draw here, so only one of those two players can make it to the quarterfinal, which is really tough. And I think it's probably Keys. I got in at Keys 18-1. I think it's kind of drifted down into the 14-1 range. Still think she has a good chance to come out of third quarter. And if not her, knock on wood, Sophia Kenin can get it done. And because I'm looking at a Kenin ticket at 30-1 and that Keys at 18-1 in my queue right here. As far as the very top of the market, is Serena a fair price favorite here?
No.
It looks short. It looks a little short. I guess I would say, I understand that she is the favorite and it adds up to me. But this is a wide open tournament on the women's side. I think there are legitimately 15 women who have a reasonable argument that they can win this. And, the difference between 1 and 15 is not as great as the odds would suggest between Serena and 30-40-1.
We have a lot of friends with us. Natalie is on chat with us. Big Ragu, Dave Betts, Adam Booth, our very good friend Adam with esports and NHL, Aspire to Elite. Very, very good people. Most of all, they are our friends and they are with us all season long. Thank you for watching us. So yeah, very interesting draw for on the women's side. What do you think is nice about this draw?
Yeah, so just quick little shout out. I have written 3 articles on the draws. I wrote 1 pre-draw. I put in 4 outrights there, and then I wrote another 2 today post-draw and put in another 4 outrights there. So looking at the draw, we can start with the women's. So yeah, the women's draw is, as per usual, quite wide open. Serena, I agree with Whale there, looks very short. She is one of the greatest players to ever grace the court. And she's still chasing that Margaret Court 24th major title.
I don't think that she will get it.
But yeah, she's lost now 3 consecutive Grand Slam finals on the spin, and 4 finals in total. And the problem with Serena Williams, backing her as a favorite, is that 1, she has struggled to stay fit. She's played only 27 matches all year. Over half of them have come in the majors. And 2, nerves. as she's gotten older, nerves have become apparent in the big moments and suffocating her game a bit. She hasn't been able to execute. In fact, she hasn't even taken a set in either of those finals she's lost. She's gotten absolutely demolished. So those two factors have me way off backing Serena Williams. Another favorite is Simona Halep. She's actually been bounced in the first round 2 years in a row. I don't think it happens this year, but she has a pretty tough draw. Moving along, we have Ashley Barty as a favorite, who hasn't looked quite right post Wimbledon. She's struggled a bit with fitness and just hasn't had the same level of tennis as we've seen from her earlier this year. So yeah, the favorites don't really appeal to me. What I have done is, as well, did take a shot with Madison Keys. She looked incredible in Cincinnati last week, taking the title. And to her powerful game, she's added a bit of a controlled aggression, because previously she was a bit of an unforced error machine where things weren't going her way. But she literally reeled in that control and just dominates the points, move people from side to side. And she's a 2018 semifinalist, a 2017 finalist. So I think she can go well here. I got her at 16-1.
Yeah, the thing is that she has an easy quarter, in my opinion. Not many players on her quarter can put her a lot of problems. Maybe Sofia Kenin, if she's playing at her top level there. Pliskova, maybe if she's serving well. But yeah, Madison Keys looked very good. That's where I wanted to arrive a little bit at quarters bets. James, we have quarter one, Naomi Osaka, Kiki Bertens, Arina Sabalenka, Belinda Bencic. But me, I don't understand why Cory Gauff is priced lower than Belinda Bencic. She's more favorite to win that quarter than Belinda Bencic, Azarenka, Vekic, Kontaveit, and so on. Yes, I think that she passed herself and she will have a great career in front. But I don't think that her experience will. I think that her experience will count here, and I don't think that she will win this quarter. What do you say? James.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Yeah, so I would agree. Yeah, sorry, the connection's pretty bad for me. I don't know if that's me. But
yes,
I'm missing half of it. I think what you're talking about is the being that kind of price is that it does build in a hell of a lot of upside. And as you say, she has upside. I wouldn't want to be betting against her for the next 2-3 years. But yeah, I mean, I think with Bencic, the obvious problem is injury concerns. And Bencic would be someone for me, going back to the quarters, who I would probably, I would say she's quite a decent bet, but I would probably want to wait for the first round. Because if she can get through that first round and looks fit, I very much doubt the bookies will react quick enough to catch her there. So yeah, I would agree. I don't think that's a quarter that she'll likely be winning.
Do you have any favorite plays from the quarters as we are looking them right now? Because the prices are really good, and we're talking about top players. Second quarter, Simona Halep to win it at 3.25, or Bianca Andreescu to win it at 5.5.
Yeah.
So I probably that will be the match of who will decide who will win the quarter. Which will decide who will win the quarter. So if you put 1 unit on both of them, you would go 1 unit, at least 1 unit up, if not 3.5.
Andreescu, that was going to be my tip. I'm not outright. I find it a little bit more difficult at the prices, although she keeps defying expectations in terms of the prices. Obviously, back to earlier this year, and she did very well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she went well. And I think the bet for me there was to take a chance on Halep still not being quite 100%. As Snize said, she struggled. So yeah, I quite liked Andreescu at 5.5 at the US Open to win that quarter. And then in the third quarter, I'm hugely interested in, as you say, it's fairly open, but Keys and Pliskova and Kenin probably the ones with the best shot. I wouldn't want to be betting on Svitolina. But I can't really see a standout player other than the top of the field in that quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, again, I would probably expect Serena to be winning that, even with her dodgy form at the minute. I just don't really see anyone who's that likely to push her. The only person who did stand out to me a little bit was Sakari at 29, just because I think she's been playing very well, but probably wouldn't want to get involved with that quarter.
Yeah,
personally.
she's a fighter, but I don't know how much fighter she is in the end.
Yeah.
At this level. Well, Capper, do you have any favorite tips for the quarters? Because you always bet on the outright markets, but you always have the quarters bets that most of the time are winners.
Yeah. So the first quarter is by far the toughest for me to get a read on, because an informed Osaka takes this quarter pretty easily. But we have not really seen much of her since, really since the spring, that suggests she's going to be, the same player we saw here last year. She continually kind of has just some random notions. I don't know what's going on with her confidence, and that opens the door for somebody to steal this first quarter. And my gut read was Bencic is underpriced here. She should be a little bit closer to the top of the market. I think Corey Goff at whatever number you're seeing, 11, 12, that's like that should reasonably be more like 20 or 30 to 1.
Exactly.
I mean, she could lose her opening match. There's a long way for her to go to win this quarter, and the pressure is going to be on after what she did in Wimbledon. I think you can pretty much rule out Kiki Bertens here. I would be surprised if she's a factor at all in the first quarter. And so I'm kind of looking down the list here a little bit. I'm interested to hear Snize's defense of, I know he likes Donna Vekic here in the first, and I could see that. Right. But right now, the way I look at the prices and the potential for, where the value exists, I do think Bencic at 12 to 1 makes a ton of sense in this first quarter as a small lotto ticket.
Okay, and the third one, Karolina Pliskova, Madison Keys. You said Madison Keys is your favorite to go from there. Halep, Andreescu. You said Andreescu, right?
No, I'm on Halep here, and I can't help myself. I mean, I can't help myself. Simona Halep and I have a pretty special relationship. The biggest tennis bet I won in my life was Halep winning the French Open 2 years ago. And I had a Wimbledon, which came through at like 15 to 1, which was awesome. So, I think I look at Halep's game and the way it is when it's on, and she is so freaking tough when she is playing her, peak top defense, and the general kind of slower hardcore conditions we're expecting here, I think lend themselves to her putting on a pretty special show. I think the fact that she's performed poorly here in the past is mostly due to just some unfortunate draws, and the fact that I remember a couple of years, like she was just gassed. Like she went deep into tournaments all leading up to the US Open. So she get there round 1 and she was just on fumes. I think she's a little bit more rested. We haven't seen her really go, full throttle since her Wimbledon title. And so I think Simona Halep actually comes out of the top half of this draw and is our finalist. I know Andrea is a nice price. I know she's a nice story. People are kind of, real warm on her kind of making the leap into clearly top 10 women on tour. But without really having ever seen her get it done in a slam setting, I need to see it at least once before I really believe we're talking about a semifinalist here. So Andreescu, I think, is eating up a ton of the market in that second quarter there. And I think Halep, even though it's not a great price at plus 150 I'm looking at here, I think maybe Halep to the final is the better look, because somebody's going to
150, only 2.5. I have 3.25, the best odds on the market right now for Halep.
I like that.
Where are you looking at that, Alex?
Skybet.
Skybet. Yeah, I saw there was on the men's side there were a couple of these. So with Team, for example, Live went like 3.5 or something like that, and then Skybet went 5.5. So it's worth looking for anyone who's watching this there's definitely going to be a few of those prime. I mean, they're just wrong from the rest of the market. I saw Federer at 2.1, I think, to win his quarter as well.
Snize, about the conditions, about the US Open conditions, who do you think that they will favor on the women's side and why?
Yeah, so US Open is traditionally a very hot and a very humid tournament. And what humidity does with the human body is that it makes it more difficult for sweat to evaporate. The body has to work harder to cool down, which makes a lot of players describe the conditions as heavy. So it takes a high physical toll, which means that the physical part of things will be very important to be successful during this week. And the problem that I have is that most players who I would normally put down as the creme of the crop when it comes to the physicality, such as Simona Halep, she has injury doubts, but definitely would favor Halep. She's a player that's a fantastic counterpuncher. I think Belinda Bencic is another player that should relish these conditions. So yeah, those are the two that come to mind immediately as to who these conditions favor.
Okay, top tip from the outright markets from the women's side. I will start with you, James, and after that, I want 2 matches from the first round from each for the women's side, and after that, we'll go straight on the men's side because there is more to talk there, and we just have 1 hour at our disposal. I know that I can talk with you guys for 3-4 hours only about the US Open first round and outrights, but unfortunately, we don't have the time. And we will be back, of course, next week with second round, third round, and so on. We will announce it on the social media. So please, James, best top tip from the outright markets. You can include the quarters, you can include the winner. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So probably my top one would be Bencic. If she wins the first round, she'll be, I would assume, around 9-1, something like that, after the first round. If she's fine getting through that, then that one, and also Andreescu to win that quarter. I can completely see the point about Halep, and as you say, Alex, you could just back both. But yeah, I think for me, Andreescu is the obvious pick there still.
Snize, favorite pick?
Yeah, so I'm on Bianca Andreescu outright, got her at 16-1. I'm on her to win her quarter. I disagree with Whale. Andreescu has the best hardcourt winning percentage on the entire tour over the last 12 months. It's up in the 90% at the moment. She's 7-0, perfect unblemished record versus top 10 opponents. So yeah, I think she wins that quarter. I like Belinda Bencic, just as James said, to win her quarter. The problem is she retired with a left foot injury in Cincinnati. If she's fit after the first match, I will be getting on her to win that quarter. In the third quarter, I think Keys comes through, but a few candidates a bit tricky. No bet there. And in the fourth quarter, Serena Williams should be coming through, but the price isn't appealing enough to bet.
Okay, I will agree totally with Whale Capper here. I'm going with Simona till Miami and back in Romania. I don't have a problem to do that. Whale Capper, top tip from the women's outright markets.
So my top tips, I got the, I guess I like Halep to make the final is probably my favorite look across all the markets. I took a flyer on Bencic at 12-1 to win the first quarter. On the bottom half, I like a Serena Keys semifinal, and I think Serena makes the final. But it could be Keys. I'm pulling for Keys. I'm still holding an 18-1 ticket, but the way that the draw shook out, I don't feel great about that really anymore. So, I would love to see Keys have the final for me. Serena Halep final seems likely. And then there's one real value long shot that I'm not sure why it hasn't really taken up a little bit more momentum, hasn't picked up a little more steam. A player that plays extremely well, way above her level in the U.S. and has really impressed in a past couple of just some random spots over the past, and she's 200-1. And this is Danielle Collins-Rose. I know that her form has been up and down this year, but if you're going to give me 200-1 for someone who legitimately their performance raises on the biggest stage, especially on U.S. tennis, I'm into that. And she's in a little section with Waz, who I think is fadeable right now. So DRC, Danielle Collins Rose, whatever her name is, at 200 to 1 worth a flyer.
Tough match against Herzog, Polona Herzog in the first round.
She's got tough matches the whole way, but she was a different player when she's got the U.S. crowd behind her. I think she's going to be tough.
Wozniacki in the second round, as predicted. Andreescu in the third round. So, yeah, very tough for her.
Well, here's the thing
What
about
happens when you
let me
back
kind
things
of
at
circle
200
back.
to 1?
Let me circle back on the Andreescu thing real quick, because you're right, Snize, you're right. Like, she's been incredible on hard courts, especially. And the problem is the farthest she's ever made it in a slam is the second round. She just doesn't have the experience when the level is this high. You know, she's going to be sitting around a lot, waiting for the next match. The pressure's turned up a little bit because she just won, you know, a premier event. So all the kind of the brew here is, yeah, she may make a run here, yeah, but but this is still going to be, it's rare to see a tennis player make the leap from having not really ever put together established winning at the Grand Slam level, and then all of a sudden just, make a semifinal.
Yeah.
It could happen. It's just, it doesn't look priced. She just has never made it past the second round.
I'm not saying that she will not win that quarter, but I'm saying that she will not win the tournament. I think that she doesn't. Okay, she was unbelievable in the first part of the season. After that, she got injured. Now she's at the top level again. But I still think that it's not time for her. It's not a correct time for her to win a Grand Slam. Dave Betts is saying, "Lol, calm down, fellas. I didn't realize tennis was so aggressive." And Adam is saying to him, "You should watch a curious match." Yeah, you should watch a curious match.
On that point, though, Alex,
not when he's winning, when he's losing.
Yeah, on that point, though, Alex, I think it's, you're never going to feel like someone at 200 to 1 is going to win it.
Yeah.
I've tipped several people, 200 or more on my own service, and you sometimes get messages from people saying, "Why are you throwing away your money?" And I just think it's a different mindset. You have to get into the mindset of thinking, even though I just don't think this is going to win, I objectively think the price is just way too good. And I quite like that, actually. I quite like the idea of that bet, especially because
you can always cash out, after the first, second round, depending on who she will get next. The price will go down. So you will be, if she wins the first match, you will anyway be in profit if you want to cash out.
And it's also worth noticing that Danielle Rose Collins actually shocked the world and went to the semifinals at the Australian Open earlier this year, so she can do it on the big stage, and now it's at home too. So definitely not a bad look there.
Yeah, 200 to 1, a bit worse, $10, if to be honest. Yeah, but after that, after 2 rounds, she might get 120, and look, I doubled my money. Almost. Yeah, that is the correct way of thinking. If you want to bet such a high price. Well, Capper, very interesting matches in the first round. Do you have some 2 favorite bets? I know that you don't like to bet the first round usually. So, but maybe you changed your mind because we have Sharapova Serena, because we have Kerber versus Mladenovic, another interesting match. I think that we have some good matches. Kenan versus Coco Wandeweg. Yeah, you don't have nothing.
Well, I fill out a bracket every year, and there was a couple of spots where I thought the wrong woman was favored, but it's really tough because I don't follow the women's tour closely enough to know players, 64 to 128. I just don't know their games well enough really to make confident plays. So I'm gonna kind of do some learning along the way and look for opportunities when something's obviously a bust. But right now, I don't see anything that I have high confidence in.
Oh, me, I will play one unit, just this at the first view. Petkovic to beat Buzărnescu at 1.8 right now, the best price on the market with Betfair. So Petkovic, take it from now because I'm sure that the odds will drop till the start of the match on Monday. Buzărnescu nowhere this season. I'm sure that she will think to retire next season, something, I don't know. or either she will play the small tournaments, either she will retire forever, because that's not the way to perform this season. Anyways, nice. Do you have 2 top tips from the first round?
Yeah, so we have a lot of interesting matches, as you said. A blockbuster matchup that everyone's talking about: Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, the battle of grunts and screaming, as Alex would say. Probably going to be very annoyed at Sharapova during that match. Honestly, not much in that. I think Serena wins. She's on an 18-match winning streak against Sharapova, so people are probably hyping it up too much. I think it's going to be a pretty easy win there. The matches I've focused on are a bit more low-key, and actually one of the bets you just mentioned, Alex, is the one I like too. Andrea Petkovic to win at 1.8 versus Mihaela Buzanescu. So yeah, Petkovic is a German veteran. She's plugging along on the tour. She hasn't had the greatest year with a 17-22 stat line here. She's still very capable. The former world number 9 has played some decent tennis, and she's already off 2 upset wins here over Alice Cornet and Shuai Shang during this recent hardcourt swing here. Also pushed the super informed Camila Giorgi to a third set tiebreak in New York.
From all points of view. She's informed from all points of view, you know? Camila Giorgi. This is why I used the blurb on Winston Salem article on Odds Market today of James. It's Camila Giorgi on the top page there, you know.
Indeed. So yeah, she pushed her really hard. And so she's been playing some decent tennis. Mihaela Buzanescu, she's just falling off a cliff right now. She had a career best year last year. She won her maiden title, broke into the top 20 at 30 years of age. But then the week after that title in San Jose, she suffered an absolutely horrible ankle injury, and she's never been the same player since. She's looked devoid of confidence. She's playing scared. She's coming in with a woeful 12-27 record on the year. And yeah, she's had some good matches, like against Halep at Wimbledon, but those are far and few in between. And I definitely have to side with Petkovic to win there.
When you meet Simona Halep or Serena Williams, it's like when you meet Barcelona, you give everything, you know, on that match. When you play a much smaller team or a player talking about tennis, you are not at the top level. This is why I think that is the same thing happening in tennis.
Yeah. So for my second bet here, also going with a look that Whale has been talking about, and it is Danielle Rose Collins. As we talked about here, she shocked the world in making the Australian Open semifinal. She defeated Angelique Kerber along the way to that. We haven't seen much of her since, but she's faced a lot of tough opponents in early rounds. So it's not that surprising that she's been knocked out early. She's back to her favored outdoor hard courts, where she's on a 82-54 career record. And when we return here to home, so I expect the 25-year-old to relish this opportunity to get past the first round here for the first time. She's run into some really tough opponents in her previous first-round matchups, and she will really look forward to this opportunity here. Polona Herzog, she's predominantly a clay court player, and she's only been past the first round here twice in 11 attempts in her career. So not really a player that usually goes deep. She hosts a losing 102-120 career record on the surface, and I expect the surface advantage, the home advantage, to be decisive here. So Collins to win is priced at 1.67 right now.
Okay, thank you. James, 1-2 bets from the first round. Be quick, be faster, please.
Okay, so Serena's won 14 sets in a row against Sharapova, and you can get that at even money. I think 1.95 maybe. So I'm fine taking a chance on that. Serena 2-love against Sharapova. It probably will be kind of tight, but I just would expect her to win that, and probably comfortably. And the second one, so that can be my main bet. The second one that I had some interest in was An against Kuznetsova. Again, someone who's made us some money fairly recently, and the main reason for the bet being that An is drifting. She opened at 4, and I think because of Kuznetsova's great run, she's now up to 5. I think 4 was fine. So at 5, anything over 5, I think she's worth a small play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Okay, that's it from the women's side.